Michael Medved proves to be the kind of useful idiot that is, I think, instrumental in the European Islamic problem, and he wants to bring it over here. And what I mean by that is the reason there's so much problems with Islam in the Western European nations especially, is because the Muslims are taking advantage of the freedom of religion laws of those free nations. And that's the same thing that the Muslims want to do here. And in order to get away with it, they need useful idiots like Michael Medved who are going to defend their right to thrive. And Michael Medved's rhetoric is cultivating an environment that's going to enable the eventual takeover of America by Islam. This is the same exact thing that's happening in Europe now. Medved says that this is a question of the Constitution and freedom of religion, and you can't single out particular religion. But that's exactly the problem. If you go by the book instead of by the brain, you're going to end up with your head cut off by the Muslims. That's the problem that's happening in Europe. They were going by the book instead of by the brain. Now, fortunately, Geert Wilders came along and recognized that you either isolate Islam as a special case, or you don't survive as a free nation. You succumb to Islamic domination. That's all there is to it. You got to have a brain to understand this. And apparently Medved doesn't have such a thing, which surprised me because he seems like he's somewhat intelligent. I mean, he's not like Michael Savage or somebody like that, but I mean he doesn't seem like he's a total moron. But I'm starting to wonder now, how could you possibly not see this, that you have to identify Islam as a non-reciprocating religion, okay, in terms of the freedoms that they will extend once they're in a position to control the government. So you need to recognize that up front, say, okay, well, look, we can see what's happening. We have, obvious and manifest evidence in the contemporary news that if you do not take these measures, then you will eventually be overtaken by Islam. So to pretend like it's not important, like he's doing it would be like if he was a commentator in the early 1940s in Germany, and he says to the Jews, well, the law says you have to get on the train. And, so he's interested in obeying the law, making sure that you get on the train if you're Jewish. And he'll, for some kind of reassurance, so that you don't feel like, well, maybe it's not so bad, you get on the train, he would say something like, you don't know, maybe the train will run out of fuel before it gets to the concentration camp. You'll never actually get to the concentration camp. That's how blind his rhetoric is. And that's how dangerous it is to say that, well, we can go by the book and Islam's not going to be a problem. I mean, this guy moron, he's an idiot. He's, I never got so mad. I'm urging everybody, write to your local radio station that carries his show and tell them that they're guilty by association of promoting anti-freedom rhetoric, pro-Islamic anti-freedom. Michael Medved is choosing Islam over freedom. It's that simple. We're not idiots anymore. The time to play idiots over. You got to say, okay, look, we know what the results if we let Islam thrive, if we allow them to use our freedoms, it's going to come down on our head eventually. We know how they are. We know what an Islamic ruled nation looks like. We know that they don't reciprocate freedoms. So you stop them right now. You stop. As far as I'm concerned, what we should do is begin to close all the mosques in America, begin to deport all Muslims unless they want to convert. They can convert to some other religion. You give them a page of religions. You can be a Buddhist. You can be a Jainist. You can be, whatever. anything but Islam, because Islam does not fit into the categories of the other religions. There are no other religions that say, okay, we need to dominate the world, and when we do, we're not going to reciprocate. We're not going to give freedom of religion. Now they'll say, well, look, we got Christian communities in Saudi Arabia or something like that. Yeah, well, they're small, isolated compounds that are there so that they can say that when somebody questions them. There's a political football. How stupid can people be? I'm telling you, write to your local radio station. Tell them that they're guilty by association. Medved needs to apologize to the American people, or he needs to get off the airwaves. He's a disgrace.